Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Easy Peasy Vocab. Today we're going to discuss about parallelism. So what is parallelism? Parallelism in sentence correction is very important for GMAT and other entrance exams. In the image you can see Olympic athletes on one side and a nice ice cream dessert on the other. Olympic athletes usually like practicing, competing, and to eat ice cream. I say that is wrong. Why did I highlight to eat? We will know that in the later part of this video. The correct sentence for this is Olympic athletes usually like practicing, competing, and eating ice cream. Now let's take a look at what a parallelism is. Two or more phrases or clauses in a sentence must be structurally and logically similar. So what is a clause? It's nothing but group of words that contain both a subject and a predicate. Whereas phrases will just have two or more words. So in the image, you can see some employees with sad faces. The employees were upset by the company's culture, poor working conditions, and that they did not have enough pay. Why do you consider this sentence as wrong? Now let's see. This sentence has three comparable parts that upset the employees. The structure of the first two parts is similar because it says company's culture and poor working conditions. So here culture and conditions are the nouns. Company's culture, company's poor working conditions, we consider that as noun phrases, right? So the structure of first two parts is similar as both parts consist of a noun phrase having nouns, culture and conditions. Whereas the third part has a different structure having a subject, a verb and an object pay. So that would be a clause, right? To make the sentence parallel, we need to make all three parts to either center on nouns or clauses. Now let's see how we can correct the sentence. The employees were upset by the company's culture, poor working conditions, and low pay. So we took out that they did not have enough pay and we replaced that saying low pay. So here the main words in each part are culture, conditions and pay. Those three are nouns, right? All those three words are nouns. The portion before the list in the sentence, that means the employees were upset by the companies, is called the root phrase. To check for parallelism, we can add each main word to the root phrase. The main words are culture, conditions and pay, right? So we can add each main word to the root phrase to see if it could finish the sentence and make sense. Now let's try. The employees were upset by the company's culture. Yes, this makes sense and it is a complete sentence. The employees were upset by the company's poor working conditions. That is also absolutely right. The third one is the employees were upset by the company's low pay. Yes, this also makes sense, right? So that is how we check for parallelism. Let's see another simple example. We wanted to cook and to go swimming. So why is it wrong? To cook is a verb, right? Verb phrase. To go swimming. Swimming will be the gerund. It is not a verb here. What is the verb there? Go, right? So we need to change both to the verbs so that they can be parallel. So how do we correct it? We can say we wanted to cook and to swim. Cook is the verb, swim is the verb, and it is parallel, right? Example 2. Now, in the image, you can see some staff walking out of their workplace with all their belongings. The college cut expenses by laying off staff and it stopped work on a major project. So what's wrong in the sentence? Laying off and it stopped work are not in the same structure. They are not grammatically same, right? By laying off staff is a prepositional phrase, while it stopped work on a major project is a full clause because it has a subject and a predicate. So, how do we correct it? The college cut expenses by laying off staff and stopping work on a major project. Laying and stopping both match logically and grammatically. So, let's see what are parallelism markers. Basically, parallelism markers link or contrast items which forces those items to be parallel. The most common parallel markers are the three conjunctions. What are they? And, but, or. Markers can be open or closed. Open markers. They have a word or words between the two parallel elements. For example, and, like X and Y. For example, we say pears and peaches. When we use or, like X or Y, happy or sad. Rather than, that means X rather than Y. We can say play golf rather than hike. They are open markers. That means they have a word or words between the two parallel elements. That means and or rather than is coming in between two elements. So what about closed markers? They have a word or words between the two elements as well as before the first element. Like using both and. We can say both X and Y. For example, both girls and boys. That means you have a word between the two elements girls and boys and also a word before the first element girls, right? So both girls and boys. Either or, either X or Y. We can say either she laughs or cries. Not or but, not X but Y. Not eating but sleeping is an example. Not only but also. We can say not only X but also Y. For example, not only the teacher but also the students. From or to, from X to Y. For example, from the school to the house. Got it? So you can use this parallelism markers to identify any parallelism mistakes so that you can correct them. Parallelism mistakes and corrections. The first one is verb forms. Do you remember the sentence in the first slide? Olympic athletes usually like practicing, competing, and to eat ice creams. So, why was that wrong? Practicing and competing are gerunds. So, what are gerunds? They are nothing but the verbs functioning as nouns. If you want to learn more about gerunds, you can go and watch that in my playlist. So basically here practicing and competing are gerunds. While to eat is an infinitive, right? So they are not structurally and grammatically same. They don't match. So what do we need to do? We need to correct that. There are two ways to correct this sentence. One, Olympic athletes usually like practicing, competing, and eating ice creams. So we have changed to eat to eating, and that becomes a gerund. The second one, Olympic athletes usually like to practice, compete, and eat ice creams. Here we have used infinitives. Note, no need to repeat the two each time as long as the form of the verb is same. Right? Here the form of the verb is same. Practice, compete, eat. So we don't need to use like to practice, to compete, to eat. We'll just use to only once. Got it? The second one is nouns versus verbs. For lunch, we like cheese rolls and to fry long beans. So what is wrong here? Cheese rolls is a noun, but to fry is a verb, right? So it doesn't match. You cannot use nouns and verbs. Either it should be completely, both the words should be nouns, or both should be verbs. So what are the two ways to correct the sentence? For lunch, we like cheese rolls and long beans. That means we have used both nouns, cheese rolls and long beans. The second way to correct is, for lunch, we like to make cheese rolls and fry long beans. That means to make cheese rolls, you are using a verb here, and fry long beans. Fry is also a verb here, right? So they both match and they are parallel. Got it? Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share, subscribe and comment for more videos. Thank you so much.